Minister won't deliver on.
Thank you, Mr Chair. Thanks for the opportunity. I was just wanted to note the eloquence of the Minister who spoke so wonderfully just a few moments ago. What I have to say, though, is it's a shame that eloquence, that wonderful turn of phrase, couldn't be applied to his super ministry, to get his staff in line, to create those synergies that were promised to the people of New Zealand. In terms of eloquent messages at the moment as well, it seems like National is putting out this wonderful argument that if anyone talks about how bad things are in New Zealand, it's their fault. If you talk about how bad things are, it's your fault. So apparently by talking about it, sir, tonight, it's going to be my fault that the economy's not doing that great. Sir, speaking about infrastructure and economic development, though, the regions have been shortchanged in this appropriations round, in the 2015-16 appropriations round, sir. Economic development, sir, without a doubt, will be more meaningful for each and every New Zealander if this government would actually focus on our regions and, more importantly, the people in them. Infrastructure development. We were talking today, we've just come back from meeting with our constituents. So we were talking about roading in Northland, funnily enough. We're encouraging cruise ships to come to the port, which is wonderful. And then what they're doing is they're taking them out to wonderful tourist activities out in the Cody Forest. But, sir, a lot of that road, and it was spoken about before how there's been a 13% cut in our region's roading, for example, a lot of that road, sir, is gravel. So there is absolutely no doubt that we're undermining our tourism, which the Minister spoke about how wonderful it was. But we're undermining it with inappropriate and lacklustre appropriations in this round, sir. What we need to do is, what this government needs to be doing is be considered in its approach. What they are failing to acknowledge as well is the appropriations to the broadband rollout, for example. Actually, there was no appropriations attached to the broadband rollout because the government hasn't acknowledged that there's an actual problem with the broadband rollout in New Zealand. So what we have at the moment, again, another discussion with people in rural communities in our regions telling us not only can they not connect because of structural issues with the rollout, which were inherent from the start, the problems were there and transparent from the start, sir. So not only can they connect, but we were having some wonderful conversations about the broadband rollout and the fibre connections, and what businesses in our rural sector and our regions were telling us, sir, which is ridiculous, is that as they were connecting and opting into this wonderful option to grow their business, their internet speeds were slowing down. They were measuring their internet speed, sir, and they were able to tell us categorically that it was slower than dial-up. Dial-up, 10 years ago. That's how slow it's become because the infrastructure, the investment, the lack of foresight of this government in terms of these appropriations for infrastructure, for economic development, just are not there, sir. National ministers might not know this. They only seem to go rural when there's a by-election. But rural businesses only 10 minutes from the city are experiencing these problems. The lines have been upgraded, but the infrastructure is not coping. It's ridiculous, sir. And so previously I've spoken on this House about the implications for the broadband rollout on rural business. And the reality is that rural businesses have less websites, they have less internet connectivity, and they're not bothering with this so-called online economy because they can't take advantage of it. So the electricity industry, another infrastructure, another economic development issue that seems to have been left by this government. We've had conversations put to New Zealanders from the Electricity Authority Association asking, should regions pay more for their electricity through line charges? And they've put it, sir, that essentially it's going to be the absolute nth degree of user pays. So we're not going to share structural costs. We can't share this with New Zealanders. It's going to be the regions.
Mr Chair.
I call the Honourable Simon Bridges.
Mr Chair, it is a great pleasure